And that plays into another thing you said. As you can see, I've done my homework on you.
I appreciate it.
But you talk about, two key elements when selling a business, and you can feel free to add if you feel like there's more. But you talked about how the fact that most people think that you want to build, a company to X size, but there's other, intangible variables at play. Things like, I know you said one is that you have to almost not need it, not need an acquisition.
Yeah.
So can you talk about what people who want to build a business for acquisition should aim to look for and build supplementary from, what might not initially meet the eye?
Yeah, so very easy. I would talk about, there's this concept called the conditions for success. So don't think about the goal. So I'll give you something very easy. Let's take a health example. If I want to lose 20 pounds, the goal is I want to lose 20 pounds. Now everyone starts to work on that goal. We shouldn't care about that goal. What we should care about is, hey, a year from now, Omar, if I've lost 20 pounds, what is true in my life? Okay, I have a really good sleep and wake up routine. Okay, that's one condition. I've taken away all junk food from my home. Great. I have a trainer that I meet 3 times a week, and I run 10 miles a week. That is in place if you future pace yourself. Those are the conditions for success. So now instead of thinking about losing 20 pounds, all I'm thinking about is I got to get my morning and night routine set up. I got to get a trainer, because if those are in place, I know my goal will happen. So you take away the pressure from the goal and you just build the conditions. So for us, it was always, let's have insane cash flow. Let's have a big business. Let's have a lot of options. So it was all those conditions. That's why if you have a digital marketer running an online business, do you have your affiliates? Do you have multiple product lines? Do you have something? Right. Do you have a membership site? Do you have a mastermind group? What are the conditions that are available that will give you something significantly more? So when I work with CEOs of companies right now, I have about 10 CEOs that I mentor. I'm always talking to them not about their goals, but what conditions they need to put in place.
Yeah, what systems are creating results as a byproduct.
Exactly right.
That way you don't worry about a byproduct. For example, Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't worried about getting a six-pack. He's just worried about eating XYZ every day, right. Waking up at this time, working out twice a day. The results take care of themselves over a sustained period of time. Those compound.
Yeah, and the conditions are very controllable. And if you don't get the goal, you know that you may just missed on the conditions. And that's okay. You just fix the conditions and you'll get your goal.
Yeah, you just pivot the systems.
Exactly.
Beautiful. And you learned that massively at Teles. So let me ask you this, Teles. So let me ask you this. What was the biggest challenge? If you could pinpoint, what was the single biggest thing that you had to wrestle for the longest time? Was it that first year initially finding the plan? Was it maybe the partnership? Was it managing the team? I mean, if you could pinpoint, what was the thing that you had to wrestle with the most with Teles, and what did you learn from it?
The number one thing, which I never thought that's what it would be, was culture. And I'll tell you why. When you have a really good vision, you just have to enroll people around it to support you to getting there. And it's not your vision anymore. Now it's the culture's vision. Culture is such this ethereal thing that people are like, oh, we have a great culture. Walk into my office, high five people. We've got music.
Free snacks.
We got free snacks and foosball tables. Culture, that's what people think culture is. Culture is, to me, is a sense of belonging. And there's only one way you create belonging. You create belonging through cadence, through regularity. Everyone thinks that one day you wake up and Omar's created this big business with culture. Why? It's not that you showed up every day. You sent out that voicemail to your employees every day. You did the tweet to your employees every day. You had the culture meetings every day. You had the potlucks every Friday. The cadence of what you did is where everything is. When we had culture, and I think that's what the whole up curve was, everybody believed in the vision more than we had to.
So it kind of took on a life of its own.
Yeah.
And so the culture ended up doing the bulk of the heavy lifting, and you didn't have to be in it and try to sort of, tweaking everybody's mentality along the way.
And when stuff breaks and you have good culture, you're forgiven a lot more.
There's leeway.
There's a lot of leeway. They're like, oh, Sharran didn't mean that. If I write a nasty email, and they'll be like, oh, he must have had a bad day, let him go. But if you didn't have culture and you write that email,
that's who Sharran is as a person.
Exactly right.
Gotcha.
Exactly right. So you get there's a lot of forgiveness when you have good culture.
What would be your top 3 tips to entrepreneurs out there watching this that are maybe starting their own business or scaling, whether it's at the 6, 7, 8, 9-figure level and beyond? What would be your top 3 tips for somebody who knows nothing about culture on how to like tactically start building one.
Yeah.
You recommend them writing down values. Do you recommend them getting in a meeting with their team? I mean, what is your step 1, 2, and 3 recommendation on how to really build an effective and powerful culture in business?
Yeah, awesome. So the first thing I would say is it's very hard to define a culture before it happens.
Interesting. Yeah.
So, well, you can define what you want it to be. Hey, we want to be collaborative. Right. That's cool. But over 3 years, you'll realize that collaborativeness took a whole spirit of its own. Right. You have no idea.
Yeah. Has conditions and earmarks in there. Yeah,
exactly. So what I would say is culture is built by the cadence of communication and touches. So if you're a leader, what you should be doing is every Monday, whatever, every Wednesday, every Monday an email comes out or a Slack message comes out or whatever that says, hey, this is what we did this weekend and this is why I'm grateful for the team and have a great week ahead. If you write that every single Monday, some Mondays may be great what you write, some Mondays may not, but the team is like, whoa, they start to get bought into who you are and what you're doing. My COO right now, I do that. My CEO at the end of the week, every week he writes his top 10 for the week. So he just says, 10 great things happened this week and he'll write those out. Just those 2 things bring the team together because everything else is business meetings. We do a 30-minute culture call every week, and we rotate that. So the one thing we started doing was for every week we had one person share one thing that they loved, a book, a story, a PDF, a concept, a Wikipedia page, whatever. And everybody had to read that before they came in, and it doesn't have to be business related. And everybody on the Zoom call, we were all on video, had to share their takeaway. And now I knew Omar more, and Omar knew everybody else what they thought of that topic.
Outside of just the business.
Outside of the business. So we did that so that all our employees could get through that. No pressure, nothing, right? And some people said, hey, this is really personal to me, I'm just gonna pass. Great, pass. But things like that, we have full attendance on our all hands calls, and people, what they do is for these all hands, they're like, our goals are these. They make it an administrative meeting. But
right,
when you take the all hands and make it a culture meeting, you get a whole new person in there. But I would say culture today is built in the cloud. I would think about culture in the cloud. A lot of us, your first interaction with your team is your 3 text messages that you get. Your first interaction with your team is the email that goes out. Your first interaction with the team is when they log into a system. We do a lot of culture in the cloud, but we've not built culture in the cloud. So if we don't define, hey, here are my Slack messages that come out, like it's very mechanical. Here are the emails that come out.
Right.
Omar, hey guys, I just want you to know, Sharran and I are going to do an interview. He's going to be and if the team knows and shares that, now they know more about what you're doing and it's tied to the bigger vision. Mechanical things can really start to build this bond with the company, and out of that comes something really magical.
That's beautiful, and you start attracting the right people as well.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you about this. What have you found to be the most effective? Obviously with high-end real estate, you want to make sure you're bringing in the right people and be very particular about that. But across industry, it's important to have good people in your business. What has Sharran learned about what it takes to attract quality team players in your business for entrepreneurs watching that want to grow their team and want to make sure to quality control it? What would be your best advice in that regard?
Yeah, really great. So 2 things. Number 1, it would be great if you just wrote down, and I would say no more than 10 because it's too many, the 10 things that you love about your company. Hey, it's like I'll give you one. We have very specifically taken a shot at building a remote culture. All our employees worldwide are remote. We do everything on video. So our 10 says, we have a thriving remote culture. We are very transparent, meaning if I have to go to the doctor, I say I have to go to the doctor. I don't say I'm off this afternoon. Transparency is really big. We say, hey, we bring up all our issues first. We're kind first, whatever it is. If you write it up, it would be awesome if someone connected with what you wrote. That would be the first thing, because as soon as you get the culture fit right away. The second thing is, I don't believe in interviews anymore. Just pay them for a day to come work with you.
And then see their workflow.
I hand them a laptop and say, you have a project? Use the web. Talk to your friends. Use YouTube. Figure it out. Because put them in a situation where they would work, as opposed to saying, well, answer me how you would do a marketing campaign. You've never even given me time to think. And different people work differently.
Right.
So we always say, hey, here's who we are as a company, and come work with us. And we'll pay you for it. Take a day, projects, whatever, and collaborate with the team. We'll give you access to everything, because that's the only way you learn. And man, we have noticed so fast That's someone that does a
who
day
works,
with us.
who doesn't, versus interviews and trial and error and trying to systematize it any other way.
Yeah.
You just figure it out on the fly.
Yeah.
When they're in the work.
And people always say this whole, hire slow, fire fast.
Right.
Like whatever. Like that's ridiculous. Why would you hire slow? That makes no sense. Hire with good process, fire with good process. It's not, if when you say fire fast, well, let's say you have a key controller or a CFO in your organization.
Yeah.
Just because, what are you going to fire them fast? You can't. Your company will fall apart. You say, hey, if key positions means we need to make sure they have a backup. The backup needs to be trained. Hey, I need to have a backup. They need to be trained. They need to do this. Awesome. That's a process. You can't, the whole hire slow, fire fast is ridiculous because if you start firing fast, we're going to end up with no people.
Yeah. It's only a matter of time, yeah.
Yeah.
If you guys enjoyed that video, be sure to hit that subscribe button right now because every week we bring you the very best in personal development content, interviews, and insight to help inspire you to take your life and your dreams and make them a reality. And also, if you want to know how to book dream guests the same way I have, you can check the link below for my top 3 secrets. So if you have a podcast or a show or whatever it is and you want to collaborate with them, if you click that link below, I'll give you those top 3 secrets to help you get in touch with anybody. And also, don't forget that The Passionate Few is available on media platforms as well. So you can subscribe to the podcast. And until next time, thank you for being one of the passionate few.